Hi guys! This is the last episode before the finale, and it felt like the finale itself. We will see their last cover mission and 2 people will be eliminated, so 10 will proceed to the finals. There were also some controversies during their practice time, so let's get to it. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe and don't forget to like. Thanks! This was a very long episode and by the end of it, we will see the results of the 3-week voting. 3 people will be chosen by votes and 7 by the producers to continue in ILAND. The 2 people who don't get chosen will be eliminated. As always, the votes combine global and Korean votes, with Korean votes being worth 50%. The reason today's episode feels like the finale is because it was fully broadcasted live. There's also a live voting. The presenter had a dramatic entrance with the girls divided into 2 teams, turning like robots, and by this we can see a glance of what the teams and the concepts will be. They start by showing us how the practice went, beginning with the girls changing rooms after last episode, and they try to create some drama between Jeeun and Koko, but I don't understand the reason why. They recap some moments of them with Jeeun saying she needed to practice her pronunciation, but that was during the very first ILAND test, the signal song, and they replay their favorite scene of all time, Jeeun leaving ILAND. Moving on, they show how Fuko is worried because she has been always on the 4th to 6th place bedroom without moving up, and Saebi is sad because she fell from the debut positions, she went from 3rd to 7th. They say this is the final test to determine the finalists, so everybody is tense. The last test is called Self-Made Test, where the girls will choose the team members, the song, the costume, and the stage theme. The top 1 and 2 girls on the ranking will be the leaders and they will choose the members just like school essays, one at a time. The girls were Koko and Jeemin, and they are already the center position for the teams. They are presented some song options to choose, all of them being debut songs, and Jeemin wanted a girl crush concept, with Jeeun and Sujung, and the song Latata, but the problem is Koko decided the same and she could choose first because she ranked number 1. With that, Koko's team became Jeeun, Sujung, Juwon, Jonghyun and Yuju. Jeemin's team became Fuko, Sarang, Saebi, Mai, and Gyuri. Since Koko chose Latata first, Jeemin had to think of their song on her own, and she decided to go with Into the New World, by Girls' Generation, a bright concept, the opposite from the other song. Remember the drama from before? Well, Koko chose Jeeun, so the Mnet thing didn't work. And Jeemin chose Fuko to secure a vocalist before choosing Sujung, so she ended up losing the 2 girls she wanted. She also lost the song she wanted, but the editing during all this part was funny. Now the girls choose their parts freely in the song, without the divisions we used to have before, like main dancer, main vocal, and etc. Koko's team goes first. This team has the top girls by categories, so I was sure they would do very well. They had the 2 main vocalists from last mission, the 2 main rappers, and the 2 best dancers. They make sure to show a little conflict between Koko, Jeeun and Yuju, as if it would influence on us, saying Koko is afraid of them, when Koko and Yuju actually did a very good job together on the rap mission and didn't have problems at all during their practice. It seems they decide the parts very quickly without any problems and the only thing that's left to decide is between Jonghyun and Juwon for the chorus part. They all think Jonghyun was better for the main chorus, and she suggests doing what's better for Juwon, but Juwon accepts the Latata part. Later she kind of regrets because it's too high, but Jonghyun fits the chorus better. For Jeemin's team, the team was comfortable with the song, except for her, cause it's a concept she is not used to, and she chose it thinking about the unit. She even suggests the parts the girls will fit the best and start being a leader, but the girls disagree cause Fuko says that this would be correct if it was a group match, but it's an individual match. She says each person should do the part they want, and now we'll see how different this became from the Latata team and how messy it gets when they only think about themselves and not about the song. All the girls want as much parts as possible, but Jeemin seems to not be like this because she ended up with very few parts just to please everybody, when she should be the center. For example, the Latata team said the center should do the first part, so they gave it to Koko and she didn't have to say anything, but here it's Saebi doing the first part. There's another thing that makes it more complicated for them, they have to adapt the song for 6 people, so they aren't following only one person like in Latata. When I was watching this, I felt like getting there and dividing the parts for them. Do you guys feel like this sometimes? Since it's a hot discussion and it kind of got me surprised and frustrated, I'll show some details. The song has an intro and there are 6 sentences on a row, so Jeemin suggests that they sing 1 line each, and Jeemin wants the first part cause she's the center. Then Mai, being very clever in my opinion, said the same person should do the intro and the first part to keep it neat, but Gyuri thinks it's too long for one person because it's 20 to 30 seconds straight, and then I asked myself, is the original like this? The video is right there, why don't they follow it? When I don't know how to adapt something, I watch the video again, unless it's something bad, lol. Then they decide Jeemin will do the intro, Saebi the first part and Jeemin the second part. For the chorus, they think Jeemin needs to be on it, but Gyuri keeps questioning the line division every time it's about Jeemin's screen time. Honestly, if you are thinking about eliminating your opponents and being highlighted, a better strategy would be to steal screen time from the other girls, not Jeemin. Sarang says everybody wants the chorus, so they decide the dance break part first. Jeemin, Sarang and Mai want it, so the other 3 girls will decide it. Fuko says Jeemin should be there, and you won't believe who disagrees. Did you guess who? Yes, Gyuri said just because she's the center she wants the intro, the outro, and the chorus. Well, what is the center supposed to do? She won't do the full thing anyways, she's shooting everywhere to see what she gets. But okay, she says they should distribute it evenly, which I agree, and says she has other parts, so she doesn't need the dance break. I think it's fine for her not to be in the dance break, but starting the song, finishing the song, and having some part in the chorus is literally what every center does, so she needs 3 parts in the song. With that, Mai and Sarang have the dance break. For the rest of it, there's one part given to Fuko and Gyuri, which Jeemin applied for, and Saebi asked for a long part, and I think she got it. Then we go back to the latata team. Sujung surprised me at how organized she is, cause she says they all have ideas for the performance, but Koko should speak up and not feel discouraged, cause they should reflect her ideas into the song she chose. I liked it. They all start talking at the same time and Koko seems to not say anything, and it cuts to their dance practice. Since Sujung and Jonghoon have leadership inside them, they naturally start to discuss what they should do and Sujung starts leading the dance. I don't know what happened to Koko because she was the dance guide for some other tests and now she isn't saying anything. From her interview it seems she let Sujung lead it on purpose. Now the moment I was waiting for, the self-evaluation. Let's look at how Jeemin's team divided the lines with the actual song. They start with the latata unit and everything seems very coherent to me, they will slay. They received compliments, mostly about Koko, and it quickly moves to Jeemin's team. The latata girls seemed surprised by why Jeemin isn't the first to sing, because that was a key point for Koko on their team. From the scenes they show we can see that Jeemin has very few parts, she stays in the back in the choreography, Gyuri has a long part and the second part of the chorus as well, and when the song ends Jeemin is in the back. So, apparently the first thing the girls say is Jonghoon asking if they are happy with the parts distribution, and Sujung completes with everyone. Fuko says she is, but they can see some are not. Surprisingly, Gyuri is the first to say she is not. And this is the moment Jeeun did something I never thought I would agree. She said straight to her face that she shouldn't say that, and because she appeared a lot she thought Gyuri was the center, and she only realized Jeemin was the center when she appeared in the chorus and that there's a problem in their line distribution. All the other latata girls agree and Sujung explains it seems they all are performing as if they were the center, and they need to realize the whole point of this test. Thank you. Imagine if they got like this to the interim check? I can't deny I felt curious to know what the producers would say, but that would fall into Jeemin's response, cause she was the leader and she didn't speak for herself. After this, the latata girls were the ones to talk to Jeemin and told her to stop making concessions and being too kind. They recap something from before the evaluation, where Jeeun says the other team was saying they had no parts, and Jeemin got confused, and they show Gyuri complaining to Jeeun that she didn't have many parts and there was no impact. Now it makes more sense why Jeeun was the one to answer Gyuri after the evaluation. Now we move to the performances, but before we see their practice time again as always. The first team was latata. For the interim check they explain what they planned for the stage, but Koko had some difficulties and Sujung started explaining, so the producers said Koko needed to act more like a leader and speak up. After this, the girls talk and Sujung says she wanted Koko to speak more, because the producers thought she was interrupting Koko and now she will stop talking, and then Koko apologizes for not saying anything because she was out of ideas and she let them guide everything. They solve it really peacefully, saying no pressure, and Koko wants to talk more and be less shy. She started to give them ideas after this and be more active. Juwon wasn't feeling confident, so she stayed practicing until late and Koko stayed with her. Regardless of all the conflicts in this episode, this team seems more like an official thing than the other one, and that gave me high expectations for their performance. The good thing is, they matched it. Their stage was mysterious and pretty, their clothes were amazing, I like this performance a lot. I think the parts were so well divided, it was impactful from start to finish and everybody shines. Yuju and Koko balanced their parts very well, cause by a coincidence the first part of the song seems like rap and it's the center part, so Koko got a part that fits her, as well as some other dance highlights and a second rap part. Yuju got a lot more highlight than usual and the main rap part, and she was so similar to Sujin in my opinion, like, she was resembling her so much, maybe it's the hair and her mouth. Jeeun got the part that fits her voice the most and I'm so happy with this line division, I know I already said it 3 times. Sujung didn't stand out that much, she got a short vocal part, but she was centered during the dance break, so it seems right on point. Jonghyun shined so much. She was so good here, the chorus was impactful and she got the mini dance break part after the chorus, it was so amazing and the moves were so fast. I was amazed by her, she surprised me even more, and the good thing is after this performance her popularity in Korea was rising. Juwon got some highlight and did well, but I can feel she wasn't as confident and powerful as other performances, which is sad, her latata part was also too high for her I think. Koko ended the song as the center, with the second part of the dance break, and it seems everything in this performance was fitting so well. One of the best performances from the show, if not the best one. The producers compliment the team and they finally have good things to say about Yuju, they compliment her facial expressions. They compliment all the girls, Jeeun and Jonghyun for dancing, and Sujung for communication. They also said they thought Juwon was only a dancer before and they noticed her voice now, but that was nonsense because she was in the Panorama team during part 1. Now we'll watch the Into the New World performance. Jeemin arrives last in the practice room after the self-evaluation, and she says that not everyone is satisfied with their parts but this it's inevitable. She then says someone in latata has only 3 lines and isn't complaining so much. Wow, I felt the tension from here. She says everything I wanted to say, that the other unit is trying to get the greater picture right, while their unit was just unhappy. They recap them complaining on the night before, for being in the back for some parts. To be honest, I was getting annoyed when I saw this, it's like they spent the whole practice time complaining even after having the parts they chose on their own. You can see Jeemin is trying to find solutions and Mai is up to whatever happens, but the other 4 keep complaining. This made me have a different view about their personalities, it's a new side we didn't see yet. Back to Jimin's leadership, she says she understands it's an individual match, but they are hindering the practice and that's bad for everyone. She ends it saying, let's be less greedy and do this together. Now it's Gyuri redemption time. She says she'll share her parts for the ones who have less, and she says in the interview that she got greedy because she didn't used to have many parts, but then she looked back at how she was acting, and she even cried. I think this were June words having an effect on her because before that she was too immersed on herself and the parts. Then Sadie gives an interview saying she didn't look after someone she likes and she felt bad for it. Back to practice, Sadie says Jeemin should do her first verse, and the only moment they show Mai is now, she says okay. I think Mai wasn't complaining about her parts and probably was agreeing to everything, cause she had very short screen time this time. They don't show us how the part division was made after this, but Jeemin tells them to follow her lead. After this, they show Gyuri apologizing to Jeemin, but she was whispering, I don't know if she didn't want to be heard by the mic. She says Jeemin gave up her choices to please them and she's sorry. Now for the interim check, they say they changed the dance break to have island references, and Taeyang says they should start more poetically. I think they did what Jeemin had in mind at first, because the beginning has each of them singing 1 line. It seems they had help from the producers to set up some things like the dance break, so I wonder if they helped with dividing the parts as well. The performance starts with videos of them during Island and how many trainee days they have. There's a giant clock on the ground and the stage looks time and space themed. They start singing 1 part each, with simple instrumentals, and each one of them has a mini scenario behind them. I think this beginning was beautiful. They get information for the chorus and the real music starts, I think it was so nice and impactful this way. Jeemin was so beautiful, and she fits so well as center in the chorus. Sarang got the second part of the chorus, then Gyuri got the next part. The dance break was divided into 2 groups of 3, but the references for the final love song and I Whaley were different from the rehearsal, and I didn't get the final love song at first, the I Whaley one is clear. Sadie got the dance break alone, then Jeemin has 1 part, and then Mai comes, just before they all move so Fuko shines in the center and I think this was very nice. I think Fuko got what would be a main vocal position, she did the high notes and ad-libs, and it was perfect this way. For the last chorus, everybody sings, but Jeemin got the center, while Fuko does the high notes. And the performance ends with a sequence move. I think this was a very good tribute to this song, and they were all stable and happy, and the parts division was better like this. I like it a lot. But because of all the process we saw, I think I enjoyed latata more, like I wasn't anxious. But it was a great performance either way, I just think I liked it more when I watched it live. The producers say they were scared when they said they would just sing the beginning but it came out very well, and it was nostalgic to watch the performance. They also say this was the most honest and genuine stage, and they compliment the girls. The first one was Jeemin, then Sarang, Saebi, Gyuri, Mai, and I thought they forgot about Fuko cause for me she was the second more noticeable because of the high notes, but then they complimented her too and talk about it. While they count the votes, we'll see their last night before the performances, when they had a pajama party. It was a fun time, and I'll mention some interesting things. They sing some of the songs they performed, Jonghyun and Sujung recreate the rap performance and I liked it. Then they start to play with a lie detector. The girls use this moment to test Jonghyun and Jiyoon. They start by asking if Jonghyun is comfortable around Jiyoon and she passes the test. But when they ask Jiyoon if she pretended to not hear Jonghyun in episode 4 and she answers no, so the lie detector hits her. I know these things are just toys, but I wouldn't be surprised cause that moment was very suspicious and her reaction here too, lol. Then they play some video letters that the girls recorded for each other. They didn't show us all of the girls' recordings, but they watched them all. Jonghyun wrote to Jiyoon, she said she don't want to fight anymore, and she seemed happy. Then they act embarrassed and it was funny, but Jiyoon was suffering from having to watch her own recording after this. She was so relatable here, lol. I think they didn't know it would play for all of them to see, but it was funny, and she chose Jeemin. It was unexpected to me, and Jeemin also didn't see it coming. She just said they are the same age and can rely on each other and want to be together in the finals. Jeemin sent it to Saebi and we see some cute moments of them. She was Jimin's first friend there. Then Sujung writes for Yuju, and she made everybody cry, including me. She was crying in the video and she was hoping that Yuju could succeed, but it felt like she knew she would be eliminated tomorrow, which I strongly believed she would. After this they got to sleep in the main practice room, and they start to gossip around. They ask who they were jealous of after watching the letters and they ask Jeemin first. She says it's Saebi because she wrote the letter for her, but Saebi wrote for Koko and even cried. It was so funny because then the other girls say Saebi should have written for them since they were trainees together for years. Then they proceed to talk about how their friends see the show and what they say about the girls, like asking how Jeemin is in real life, watching Fuko's fan cams, and asking if Jiyoon is just a character or it's real life, lol. They say they wanted to debut all together, and it's so sad that it seems like the finals. Now let's go to the survivors and the votes. They will call the 3 most voted and then they'll choose 7 to stay. The first on the voting ranking had 3.2 million votes and we all thought it would be her, Jeemin. I won't focus on their speeches because it's almost the same for most of them. They thank everyone, but if there's something different, I'll mention it. The second most voted surprised me. I was expecting it to be Jiyoon, but in the end it was Jonghyun. I thought she could be at third or wait for the producers, but it seems last episode really helped to elevate her votes. She had 2.6 million votes. For third place, they call 2 names, Jiyoon and Koko. Before they announce it, there's a break, and they look at each other nervously. When it comes back they announce it's Jiyoon. She had 2.6 million votes as well. The difference between her and Jonghyun were 12,000 votes only. Now the producers will choose the 7 finalists and of course they already knew who they wanted so they pretend to talk, lol. The first one they choose, and 4th general survivor, is Fuko. I thought they would choose Koko over her, but we still had hope. The 5th survivor and second chosen by the producers is Koko. It was expected, everything is normal until here, and I'm actually sure Sujung and Juwon will be out because they were the least favorites both by the audience and the producers. Next, the 6th survivor and third chosen by the producers was Gyuri. This was unexpected. I thought Saebi or Sarang would for sure come before her cause they used to be producers' favorites, but they chose Gyuri before them. She got emotional on her speech and was trembling. She mentioned she barely made it to part 2 and was a lot worried. Now the 7th survivor and 4th chosen by producers is Sarang. She also got emotional and now the girls are more tense because there are only 3 spots left. The 8th survivor and 5th chosen by producers is Saebi. She was also emotional and almost couldn't speak, and I can imagine how nervous she was because she was already worried for being ranked 7th in last episode. The 9th survivor and 6th chosen by producers is Mai. I should have seen it coming because she is a producer's favorite, but I was hoping Yuju could make it before last place. This got me nervous because I was afraid of them eliminating her, who was my pick. Actually, the 3 girls left were my picks, so this episode was kind of sad to me, cause 2 of them were eliminated. The 10th survivor and last chosen by producers is Yuju. I'm happy and relieved. This was her 3rd survival show, so I had hope for her, but the way it's been going, I knew she had very few chances. That makes the eliminated girls be Juwon and Sujung, as expected. It's sad because they were my picks, 2 talented dancers that have shown their potential, but sadly Juwon didn't have enough popularity and Sujung lost her popularity over the things she said during episode 8. They had no chance to debut anymore, so I'm glad Yuju could make it to the finals. For their speeches, I think they were the most professional ones, and ironically, Sujung said personal things and encouragement for each one of the 10 survivors. She got emotional, the girls got emotional, I got emotional, nobody expected it. People said she was mean, but she was the one to have this unexpected speech. She literally went one by one speaking to the girls that passed, it was so cute. They both say this isn't the end for them and they will continue to chase their debut. The girls run to hug them and the episode ends like this. Did you cry watching this episode? Did you like Latata or Into the New World better? Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Bye.